The radically pro-abortion US Democrat Party has invited the controversial Father James Martin to pray at their Democratic convention. Why are a supposedly pro-life Catholic priest and a rabidly pro-abortion political party cozying up together? This is Ben Scallan and you're watching Gript Media. Waves were made across the pro-life and Catholic world this week when the notoriously liberal Father James Martin announced that he would be attending the US Democratic National Convention, with many objecting to the party's extreme stance on abortion. The Jesuit priest wrote on Twitter, "I was honored to accept the invitation to pray at the Democratic Convention. I will be praying for the respect for the sanctity of all human life and for a nation in which all are welcome. And if the Republicans invite me, I'll pray the same prayer." At first glance, this might seem reasonable. Martin says he'll pray for the sanctity of life, which sounds like a laudable cause to any Catholic or pro-lifer. But as author Nick Donnelly tweeted in reply, "Do you think Father James Martin will pray for an end to the abominable crime of killing babies through abortion at the Democratic Convention? Neither do I. His prayer for respect for the sanctity of all human life is an empty gesture." And given what we know about the Democrat Party and what they stand for, Donnelly certainly seems right to be dubious. This is the same political party that is vocal in their support for late-term abortions. For example, when the current Democratic vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris was acting as a senator, she co-signed what is arguably the most radical pro-abortion legislation ever proposed in the US, which would allow abortion up until birth at a federal level. Not only that, but Harris voted against the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Act. This act would have made it so that US doctors had to provide the same level of care to babies who survived attempted abortions and were born alive as they would to any other newborn baby. Harris voted against this not once but twice. And the rest of the Democrat Party has followed suit with similarly radical measures across the country. With this in mind, does anyone seriously believe that such a party would invite Father James Martin to give some kind of sincere pro-life prayer at their event? If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Left-wing politicians in the US like Joe Biden and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi have tried desperately over the years to win over the religious vote by assuring everyone how committed they are to Christian values.
As a practicing Catholic, like many of you, I was raised in a household where there was absolutely no distinction between the values my mom and dad drilled into us and what I learned from the nuns and priests who educated me. We call it Catholic social doctrine. Whatever you do to the least of these, you do for me.
And as a Catholic, I resent your using the word hate in a sentence that addresses me. I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president.
Meanwhile, they're happy to turn around and make statements like this.
That we have a right to tell other people that women, they can't control their body. It's a decision between them and their doctor.
Obviously, you want to get into that discussion. What I say is I completely respect a woman's right to choose.
In other words, it's hard to take them at face value when it comes to these moral issues. People can say that they believe what they like legally, but claiming you're a pro-abortion Catholic makes about as much sense as saying you're a vegan who eats steak. But abortion is just one issue you could point to. The Democrats' attacks on religious freedom throughout the entire COVID-19 lockdown once again exposed their lack of sincerity. For example, the Democrat governor of Nevada, Steve Sisolak, insisted that churches were to remain closed for safety reasons during the pandemic, but that casinos could stay open, much to the dismay of many religious people. Apparently, gambling is more important than being able to express one's religious faith. Similarly, Democrat-run California banned singing and chanting in churches, giving the half-baked reasoning that singing a Gregorian chant might lead to exhaling water droplets and transmitting the virus. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Democrat governor was voicing support for Black Lives Matter, while very little was done to stop the hordes of rampaging rioters attacking police in the streets. We're supposedly to believe that singing hymns in church will spread COVID, but smashing police car windows and looting in mass numbers apparently won't. This is to say nothing of much of the party's cozying up to ideologies like socialism, which has killed millions of Christians throughout recent history, or their support for things which are antithetical to Christian values, like pushing transgenderism on children. In short, the Democrats have about as much to do with Christianity or the pro-life issue as I do with shaving. So for them and James Martin to turn around and attempt this desperate appeal to faith in an attempt to grasp at new straws is essentially a slap in the face to people who actually believe these things. Please like and share this video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider signing up for a monthly donation via the link on screen to help us produce more content like this. Alternative media like Gript needs all the assistance it can get, and every donation goes a long way. As always, thanks for watching.